Welcome everyone to Australian UFO Sightings Episode 2 of Encounters Down Under. I hope you enjoyed the show so far, and if so, please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and be sure to give us some feedback. On this episode, we have Rachel joining us, who is going to tell us about a strange object in the sky and some experiences involving being abducted. So please welcome to the show, Rachel. Welcome to the show, Rachel. You are our official guest for tonight of Episode 2. How you going? Oh, hang on. I've got to go and fix that on my side. Sorry, I've done a boo-boo here. Oh no, more boo-boos. Here we go. Should I fix that one?
Oh, awesome.
Did we get you? Oh no.
Yeah.
All right, hopefully we can hear you through this. Oh man, this has been a frustrating evening trying to get this thing working. Oh dear.
Oh, okay.
So we can hear you now. Let's see if they're getting through.
Oh, so can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, sorry.
I think we've got it. I think we've won.
Yeah, okay.
Oh dear. Right, so Rachel, give us a bit of a rundown what you have been experiencing. You sent me a text message there, sent me a message there a while ago now there, and just gave this massive rundown. I was like, holy Jesus, what have you sent me here? I'd had to come back to it and get into it. And it took me at least a good 5-10 minutes to read through this thing. It was absolutely crazy. So give us a rundown of what you actually told me.
Okay, so so I've had quite a few strange experiences recently, and this, I guess, started in August. So in August this year, I guess I could only, I saw what I could only describe to be like a UFO. So I was driving home from town. Anyway, look, before I get into that, I just want to say, I guess just for context, I am not like a UFO person. Like I have no other than what I've seen and what's happened, I've had no previous interest. It wasn't even on my radar. Like I knew that they existed, but like I go to work and I come home and I take care of my kids and I'm into other things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, righto.
So I never
skeptical of the whole thing altogether.
It just, I never even thought about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess then, so on August the 19th, I was driving home from getting my car serviced in town. So that's south from me. So I was driving north. My husband was with me, but he was driving in another car. He was roughly maybe 10 minutes behind me because he had to stop to get petrol.
Yeah.
So this was a midday. It was about 12:30, just after lunch. So we were heading north. Now the road that I was driving on at the time is all paddocks, right? There's very little trees, a couple maybe, but it's pretty bare. And I'm heading towards the RAF base because I live on the other side. The RAF base is basically in the middle of where I live in town. Yep. So what happened then, so there were some planes flying over directly above me. But we're a military family. My husband's in the military. It's not even an issue for us to see that. We see it every day. It's I don't even pay any attention to it, right? So yes, other than a couple of jets, the sky was perfectly clear. There were no clouds. There was nothing. About, I want to say maybe 20-25 degrees above the horizon, and directly in front of my windscreen.
Yep.
So maybe this was like a hand width above the horizon. I saw this really bright white light. It was perfectly round. It was bigger than a star, but it was obviously smaller than the sun. And it wasn't a reflection from anything. There's nothing there. I thought that it was a planet. Because what else is it? If you see something in the sky that's round and it's not moving, it did not move the whole time I saw it. Yeah. It's a planet.
Well, they are easily mistaken a lot of times too, so it's easy to mistake them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. Well, anyway, it felt like I was watching it for maybe 10 minutes, but it probably was only 5. It was so unusual and it was so bright. I called my husband and I was like, where are you? Like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Like, this is, I'm looking at a planet. And he's like, it's not a planet. It's in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know, like, I'm arguing with him. I'm like, I know what I am seeing. It's a planet. Like, don't tell me that it's nothing else, like that it's something else. And I was like, how far are you behind me? And he, before you hit the paddocks, it's a bit of like a bush area, but he was just like, he was almost coming out of that, right?
Yep.
But he couldn't see the horizon yet. So, you know, I'm like staring at this thing on the phone to him. I'm like, you need to hurry up. This is nuts. And I'm like, why are people not pulling over? Like, it's 100 zone, but people take photos like of planes like all the time around there. People are always taking photos. How come these people haven't pulled over and taken a photo of this planet? You don't see it every day. Anyway, whatever, I'm driving, I'm arguing with him, hurry up, it's a bloody planet. And then it just starts to fade away, like to nothing. It never moved the whole time. It just like slowly faded away right in front of my eyes. And it maybe it was like 30 seconds, maybe, that it took to completely disappear, which was so weird. And I don't know what that could possibly have been. So I got home. So my husband never saw it in that instance. So I got home and I'm still arguing with him and that it was a planet, and we've looked up and we're like, well, maybe it was a weather balloon or something, right?
Yeah.
So we had a look, and a weather balloon was launched that morning. I believe it might have been, I don't know if it was like 8:30 or 9:30, right? But maximum they last is 90 minutes. So it had well and truly gone hours before I had seen this. And it wasn't a reflection. It wasn't anything related to our military. It was, I don't know, right? So I'm still arguing with him that it was a planet. I am like, I need to call my dad. And my dad is like, no, it wasn't a planet. It's the middle of the day. It's 12:30.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe you saw a UFO? And I laughed because I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, I didn't. And he's like, no, really, I think maybe you did. And I was like, I need to go. You're wasting my time. So I told my husband what my dad said, and he was like, you know what? I think, like, I am thinking that maybe you did. Anyway, I then like Google searched, like what a UFO sighting looks like, because to my knowledge, like what you see on TV is it's like a grey flying, it's like a bucket hat.
Or a disc or something, you know, right. Classical sort of Hollywood style UFOs that everyone goes by, that everyone knows.
Yeah, that's right. And this was nothing like that. But when I searched it and when I did a bit of research on what these things actually look like, a lot of people have seen what I've seen. Like, I just Google image searched it, and the exact same thing that I saw had come up. So then we obviously went into, I was trying to find if somebody had posted somewhere that they had seen this as well that night, and they hadn't, but it was very weird. So that's where it started.
Yeah. So where was this located again?
In Newcastle. So this was in Newcastle.
So whereabouts is the RAF base from there? Is it like the western side?
It's at Williamtown, so it's like slightly north. It's all along the coast. It's all along. Yeah. So
how big do you think this object actually was? Like, from your perspective, like how big are we looking here? This planet that you're claiming.
I don't know. Like, I mean, it looked like, you know how if you go out tonight, you'll see, like, you can see, I think the orange one, I think sometimes you can see that and it's Mars or whatever. Yeah. It was, I might be making this up. I don't even know if that's what it is. Maybe it's a star. I don't know. But you know that orange one. It was bigger than that, but it was obviously significantly smaller than the sun.
Yeah.
You know, it's
So it's pretty. It could have been mistaken for a star in the sky, like bigger than the brightest star. But obviously, this is like 12:30 in the middle of the day, so you're not going to be seeing stars.
exactly. And the edges were really, really crisp. Like, do you know when you see a star or if you see a reflection, or even if you look at like a street light in the distance, you know how it kind of then, when you're looking at it, you don't see how crisp the edges are. Something happens with your eyes and like it, I don't know how to describe it, but this wasn't like that. It was very strange. I could see the edge. I could see where it started and I could see where it began. It was crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
And still, I don't want to believe that it's like, I don't know. I am a skeptic, but I can't explain that in any other way.
You got no other way to go and sort of pass it off as a logical explanation.
Yeah, that's right. And then see the thing is, then from then on, so if I can just quickly backtrack, okay, just slightly. So in March, and I did email this, when I messaged you, I did bring this up. In March, I broke out in this really weird rash one day for no reason. Nothing had changed in my environment. Just one day I woke up and it was all over my body. My legs were swollen. I thought that I had chickenpox or something. It wasn't itchy, but it was ugly. I went to like the pharmacist and he gave me some like Phenergan. I took it and it didn't do anything, but it lasted like 2 weeks. On top of that, I had an injury on my foot that my husband also has the exact same injury on his opposite foot. So I sleep on the left side of the bed, and this was my right leg, so the one closest to him.
Yep.
It was on my foot, and it was the right side of my foot. He has the exact opposite. So he's got it.
Yeah.
He sleeps on the right side of the bed. He's got it on the left, right? So exactly the same. This lasted for months and months. We had x-rays, we had MRIs and ultrasounds, or my husband had an MRI, I didn't have an MRI. And we had an ultrasound on, we thought maybe something has happened and we both broke the exact same thing at the same time, but opposite. And no, nothing came back. Also, like all my joints in my fingers and my toes were like really swollen and red. So I went to the doctor. And then I developed like tinnitus in my ear, where I've just got this pulsing constantly in my ear.
Ringing in the ear,
And
pulsing? You're saying pulsing?
It's a pulsing one, yeah. And I have trouble breathing. So this all happened at the exact same time. And I've got like no allergies. I'm cruising. I'm nothing, right?
Yeah.
So this all happened at the same time. And I went to the doctor and he's like, I don't know what's going on. He sent me to have some blood tests and stuff. And he's like, I can assume, or I in my medical expertise, I believe that you would have what's called rheumatoid arthritis, where it's like, to my knowledge, where your white blood cells attack the lining of your joints. Now, this is all coming, whatever, because all those aches and pains went away after I saw this UFO. Also, my husband, after I saw that UFO, my husband a couple of days later sent me to the Believe podcast, right?
Yep.
And there's an interview with, he interviews Jane Pooley about like her abduction experience. And she's saying that, people that have been abducted have like some sort of autoimmune disease, which rheumatoid arthritis and lupus and all those sorts of things, they're autoimmune diseases. And they break out in rashes. She believes it's because they put the DNA in your body and your body rejects it, right? I don't know any of that, okay?
Yeah.
But you break out in rashes, like all the same things, like you have trouble breathing. And when, basically everything that she said fit all these things that have happened to me in the last couple of months, right? So I was on my way to work when I was listening to that, and I actually pulled over and just like started crying because I was so overwhelmed with all this shit that I'm like, this is a whole new world that I know nothing about, right? And it's just a lot to take on, and everything that is happening, and like it can be circumstantial, except that it's every single thing that has happened fits, like this fits in this box, and then
crazy.
when I did my own research, obviously, and a lot of people have said, obviously the exact same stuff that she had said, with the autoimmune diseases, the blah, 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 with the pulsating tinnitus, which is different to the ringing one, but a lot of people that believe that they have been abducted had that. Anyway, my husband's like, it's circumstantial, like it's okay, it may not be, it was just interesting. For that, and then it stopped everything stopped at exactly the same time. Was weird.
Yeah, that's really strange. So your husband didn't have any of these same effects or any no issues that way besides just having markings?
Well, no. Well, he had the sore on his foot. He does have 3 markings like up the top of his leg that he's had for, I don't know, like maybe the start of this year. And it's like in the little triangle, but I don't know if that's related. Like we just joke about it all the time, but we don't know if it is. I will say though, so that happened, right? And that's strange. But one night, I think it might have, so this was like 2 months ago. So 2 months later after I saw, I saw the UFO in August. So, like a couple of months later, so where I live is kind of, I live at the end of a cul-de-sac, but the end of the cul-de-sac is all reserve. Behind me is all reserve, and then that reserve backs onto the water, right? So it's a pretty secluded little area. It's really, really quiet. There's not a lot of people. It's a really good spot. So we went to bed at like 11:30 this night, and I'm laying in bed asleep, and I wake up and I can hear this like insanely loud noise, and it's like nothing I've ever heard before. I'm like petrified. I'm so bloody scared. Because I sleep in the middle of the bed close to my husband. And I'm like using my fingers to wake him up because he's a light sleeper. So I'm like waking him up. He wakes up. I'm like, do you hear that? I'm whispering because I'm so fucking scared. Do you hear that? And he's like, what is that? And this man, we've been together for 7 years. I've never seen him scared of anything. Like, I'm always scared of stuff. I'm scared of the dark, but he's scared of nothing. If you hear something, he's going out. I'm going to stay in bed and prepare to die.
Oh, look, I think anyone in that situation would be freaking out going, what is that? Like, it's just an overwhelming thing to happen. You can't explain. You're trying to explain now. You're nearly frightened just trying to explain it. I can hear it.
Yeah, it is, because it's crazy. This sound was so loud. It sounded like it was surrounding the house. And it was so loud, but it was a really low tone, and it was like a whirring sort of noise. And I'm not even going to try to like recreate it because I don't. It was like an electric, like it was a man-made sound, right? And it lasted it felt like an eternity. It felt like forever, but it was probably maybe a couple of minutes. He said to me, do you want me to turn on the light? Like, I think we need to turn on the light. Like he was freaking out, and then it stopped. And and then we froze. We didn't say anything. We just laid there, just too scared. Like,
Yeah,
is
just
it
sitting there
gone?
waiting in anticipation and go, what's going to happen next, basically.
Yeah, so maybe like another minute passes and it starts back up.
Oh, no, get out.
And I was like, I was so, like, I'm scared telling it. I was so bloody scared. And it went on then for a couple of minutes before it went away. And then we instantly turned the light on. And it didn't fade away. It just like turned off. Also at that time, and we didn't notice until they started back up, but all the crickets and the frogs started back up then, maybe a minute or so later after it had gone.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
That would have been
So
crazy. Freaky.
Yeah, and I can't explain it, and he can't explain it. It was really, really scary. Yeah.
Jeez. So just before we get in, keep going, just want to know if anyone in the group who is listening, any questions in regards to what's happening, or if anyone's got anything they want to add to it, or any questions, obviously for Rachel or me. So if anyone wants to ask some questions, by all means, get in the comments here, and I'll read them out for you. But that is absolutely crazy. Like going from everything from like obviously going through from having rashes and medical issues going on. That's obviously not something you really want. And then going to actually seeing an object in the sky, then something over your house possibly. So like there was no lights coming through the windows or anything like when you were having this noise coming through?
No. And I searched, like we had a look, because Google has all the answers and also none of the answers. We went and tried to find it, and we couldn't find anything. Like anyone saying that they had heard something similar. I know that I think some ticking results had come up, some buzzings, but there's nothing that was this low tone whirring sound. Yeah, I didn't sleep the next day that night. But I think it was the next night, then I woke up and I had these big marks across my forehead, as if, if you put your hand up around your head and you try to lift up your eyebrow. Yep. If that makes sense. It was like that, and it was the width of my fingers. It was two of them. So I had these two random red marks on my forehead when I woke up. Then, not that same night, but then that following morning.
Yeah, wow.
So
just a question: is this to confirm it was in Fern Bay where you had these sightings?
No, it wasn't. It was in Nelson Bay. I live in Soldiers Point. Yeah.
Soldiers Point. Okay, so that's still in Newcastle, is it?
Oh yeah, it's like an hour north.
Yep. Okay. Right. Yep. Just going through the questions here that some people are asking. So I do have a question then, just regarding when you were explaining to me with the rashes and all sorts of stuff, I almost wanted to ask if you changed your shampoos or soap products, sort of stuff like that. It could have caused a bit of a rash, but you kept going on about your markings and that. It's obviously something would have happened there, and then your medical conditions that's coming through. That's just scary, which sort of totally wipes out the whole rash situation, going from your not byproducts, your soap products, or what do you want to call them?
Yeah, that's right. And it wasn't like a stress rash. Actually, I was on a pretty good wicket at the time where I was did a lot of overtime, so I generally was working less days. So it was pretty cruisy. It wasn't I wasn't stressed. Nothing had changed. It was really good. And then so this was the last sort of weird thing that I had, and I think for me, this is the most significant one. So this was maybe a couple of weeks ago. I had I'm going to call it a dream, because I don't know if it was, I can't say for sure if it was anything else. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
It felt different, but so what happened was I got up out of bed and I walked out the front door. So out like my bedroom door, through the kitchen and out onto my front balcony. This was like at night. I don't know what time it was because it's my dream, right?
Yeah.
So what happened was in my dream, I levitated in the air and I was being raised further and further, like into the sky. So I could see my front yard. I could see my chicken coop. My chicken wasn't asleep. It was like running around the yard. Like it knew that this was going on. So it was freaking out. And I remember I've got a tree out the front of my yard, and I got to just above tree level, or maybe at tree level. And then the next thing I know, and this is where like you're going to think I'm crazy. So the next thing I know is that I'm walking down this corridor, like of my own free will, and I'm like I'm awake and I am not being controlled. I'm walking down this corridor and the walls are like a grey, they look like they might be metal.
Yep.
I can see the joint in the walls like they're panels and they've been attached. The ground is like a shiny grey colour. And I know that there is like 2 or 3 things behind me that are like escorting me, right?
Yeah. Right.
I'm not scared. It's not, and if this had happened I would 100% be scared. So I don't know why I wasn't scared, but I just wasn't. And I said to them, I was like, I need to remember this. Please let me remember this. I need to tell my husband, like, let me remember this. Just take me back so I can tell my husband. And they didn't speak to me directly, but I knew that it was like there was an understanding where, yeah, okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you feel that they agreed on it.
Yeah, it was agreed. It was agreed.
Wow.
And the thing is, I don't know if they, like, I felt like there was a couple, like 2 behind me, and then there was like 1 maybe to the side, but I couldn't see them. So I don't know if they didn't let me see them or if they were just out of my view, but it wasn't a bad experience. I then, that was the last of it. I woke up. I was right on the edge of my bed, which, like, I've got a king-sized bed and I sleep in the middle, like, basically on top of my husband because I'm bloody needy. I was right on the edge of the bed, like I was going to fall off. And I sat up and I'm trying to wake my husband up, who's normally a really light sleeper.
Yep.
And he's waking up. I'm like pushing him. Eventually he wakes up, but this is just not normal. Anyway, he turns the lamp on. I tell him everything that's happened, and I said to him, don't worry though, they're not going to take us at the same time, so someone's going to be home with the kids. Like, the kids won't be at home on their own.
Yeah. Well,
which, like, I don't remember being told that, so I don't know why I would have said that. And when I sat up, like and I told him, like, and I was waking him up and I told him this, I like turned around to lay back down onto my pillow and there was a big chunk of my hair that looked like it had been cut out on my pillow. And when I picked it up, you know, if you pick up a piece of hair, it's limp between your thumb and your pointer finger, right?
Yeah.
One side was, but the other side was going nuts. It was like going up and down. It was crazy. My husband could see this. Like, I wasn't the only one that would. Yeah, but only one side of it. And I'm not squeezing it. I'm like not squeezing this hair. I'm not rolling my fingers. I'm just holding it because I grabbed this chunk of hair because I'm like, is this being cut?
Yeah.
You know? And like the pulsating noise in my ear that's there all the time was, and it's just the sound of blood flow. in my ear, but it was crazy. It wasn't anything that I normally hear. It was a completely different pattern.
So maybe you might have been hearing like a bit of a frequency or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, because I don't know anything about like this stuff. I just know what I've experienced. But yeah.
Wow, that is scary. Absolutely scary. Just to come home to that and like, well, obviously waking up to that and your husband having that sort of recollection. That's crazy.
And it didn't feel like a dream. Like, we all have dreams that we remember, and we all have really vivid dreams that we remember, but it was different. And do you know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it, but I don't know if it, like, I'm not convinced that it was, which I know sounds really stupid, but yeah, it was, something weird is going on.
Like a partial consciousness of what's happening to me, not so a dream, but this, it's sort of like some sort of state, that's for sure. So obviously we've got some questions here. So one is asked, like, have you had any when you were younger? So like any experiences, any encounters there as a kid, maybe that you can recollect?
No, not to my knowledge. I've been scared. Like, you get that feeling that someone's watching you. But I think that's normal, and that's probably more that I'm paranoid. I do remember being in my mum's house, and she kind of at the time she's got the same situation where her house is pretty isolated as well. It backs onto like a bit of a bushland, and then there's a street, and then there's the beach. So I woke up one night and the lights were off, and I'm scared of the dark if I'm by myself. So I went up and I turned the light off, and my mum was and my bedroom's at the end of her hallway. My mum was standing there, and she was facing the wall.
Oh, what?
And this was like in the middle of the night. My mum doesn't sleepwalk. She never has. And she was just standing there staring at the wall, and she's fucking scared me.
Yeah,
I was like,
for sure.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? And she didn't answer me. She just turned it around and walked back to bed. So I guess that's the only, abnormal thing that happened in my past. And it's only now that this is happening that I'm wondering if, like, after my dream, if that was something else.
Yeah, that's crazy. So your husband had no recollections of being abducted or anything like that himself? No experiences?
No, but I believe, based on that, somehow I knew that we would be taken at different times, that he has these weird markings up the top. Maybe that is something, and that we have the same injury that he is. And he sees owls all the time on his way home from work, and we all of a sudden have started hearing them out the back of our house in our reserve. And I didn't think anything of that until the lady that you interviewed before had said, I had mentioned that. And apparently it's a thing. Like, a lot of people that have the same sort of weird, strange experiences also like have some sort of link to owls.
Yeah. So that's another question I was going to ask you. Like, there's obviously no history, like, from grandparents that you know of that might have been having these sort of encounters?
No, but my son, and I did tell you this, so my son was about 2 at the time, and he, so I went to bed one day and it was just me and my 2 kids. Like, this was before I met my husband. No, this was in early 2013, early 2014. Sorry, I had just met my husband, but we weren't married. So I went to bed one night, and for whatever reason, I got up during the night. I went to check on the kids. I went into my son's room, and he was asleep, but every single wall of his room was covered from the ground to as far as a 2-year-old could reach if he stretched his hands out. So about halfway of these creepy alien drawings in permanent marker.
That would have been scary as.
That scared the absolute shit out of me. And these, I've got a 3-year-old daughter, and if I gave her like a pen and a piece of paper, she couldn't draw anything that looked like anything. But these drawings were all so detailed and just really, really scary. There might have been 20 of them. There might have been maybe more. It was just over and over. They were all next to each other, and it was on every single wall of his room. He had no texter on him at all. I don't remember if I found the texter. I'm assuming I did. But there was none on his bed. There was none on the carpet. There was none anywhere else. There wasn't any on his hands. And he was just asleep like nothing happened.
Oh, geez. Yeah, because kids like that age are lucky to go and draw a circle. So to go and draw these things in pure detail. Did you manage to get any photos of these pictures?
I did, but I did post it on Facebook, but it came back into my memories, and I deleted it because my I don't know. When I get all my memories, I delete them all because they're really cringy. I don't need to relive the lame things that I post on Facebook. So I deleted it. But like all my family witnessed it. My husband has seen the photos. It's really scary. Yeah.
Oh, would have been. Yeah, to come to that would have been absolutely scary as.
Yeah, and I had to repaint the whole room, but yeah, it's a lot.
So it was definitely an ink and not sort of, sort of liquid substance of sorts? No, like I didn't think that it was anything other than texture at the time, so I'm assuming that it was, you know what I mean? But... Yeah, wow. So this was in still the same area, which is pretty isolated from the main sort of suburb.
Yeah, so it's all the same area. Yeah. Another weird thing, it's not really weird, it's just a bit I think, you know how animals can kind of sense something's going on. Yeah. My cats, so I've got 2 cats, and they don't care about me at all. Like I'm trash to them. They've got
that's all cats in general, really. Humans are just peasants to them.
That's right. I could die and they would not notice. But when all this stuff has been going on, they've all of a sudden been sleeping right up against my face, like both of them. One will be up on my face and the other will be like, near my chin on my chest, which they're a bit over 1 now. They've never, ever done that except for, the last couple of months. And I will say after I've had my dream, they haven't done that since.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I have a feeling that I'm not going to have anything else. Like I feel like, or maybe I'm not going to remember it, but I feel like that's done. I don't know why. It's just, yeah.
So you think the cats might be a bit of a shield or a ward or something like maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they just knew something weird was going on with me. Yeah.
And I get cats being the type to go and be a shield, but to even go and sort of shield away from a alien abduction, that seems a bit far-fetched, but
Yeah.
I'm speculating.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I don't think it would be like that. Like they're that bloody special. I think, I don't know. Maybe I smelt weird. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, I get a bit on top of all that stuff. So sometimes, it mostly happens when I'm in bed, but I get a bit, I all of a sudden start shaking. Then it's not like a Parkinson's shake or it's more like actually, when you go into shock, like if you've had medication or you've had an operation and you come out and you get really cold and you get really shaky.
Yep.
It's like that, and it actually feels like the dryer's on, and So I get really shaky and it can last like, I don't know, like a couple of minutes, but I've got a big canvas print on my lounge room wall and that starts to shake sometimes as well. I've had some issues with the electronics in my house, but it's only been at like if my husband isn't home. So on one occasion, I was just like sleeping in bed, and then my phone started ringing, except when I went to pick it up, it was still just on my wallpaper and I didn't have a call actually coming through it. It was just the sound coming out of it, but like it wasn't, nothing was open or nothing was happening with my phone. And my phone was on silent at the time as well. So I don't know how that happened, but it was calling and it was as if the call had rung out. And then that same night, so what happened after that happened, I freaked out.
Yeah.
I then called my husband and I'm like, this has happened. While I'm on the phone to him, the baby monitor goes off and it starts playing like the lullaby that the baby monitor just has programmed.
Yeah.
And I didn't even touch it.
Yeah, so no one's
I didn't even touch
it at all.
No, I didn't touch it. The only time that with electronics happening, I will say he has experienced one thing. I said he hadn't, but he had one time. He was walking up the stairs and the TV was on. We had just got home and he's like, oh, that's weird. Who left the TV on? And then the TV just turned itself off.
Oh, no way.
At the exact moment. So I don't know if that's like, I don't know what that is, but it's like there's something now going on with the with our electrical stuff at home since all this stuff has been going on. So yeah.
Jeez. So you don't think it could be like a bit of a paranormal thing, maybe? Like, you know, you might have a ghost watching, like chilling on the couch there watching TV, then all of a sudden, oh no, someone's home, but turn it off. Like a little kid there trying to hide watching TV when they're not being grounded or something like that.
Well, that's what we thought, but I don't know. I know that all this sort of like this strange like alien, I guess, stuff, like it can mess with electronics. So I'm thinking, though, the reason I bring it up is because I think maybe it could be linked to that. Maybe it could be linked to absolutely nothing, and I don't know. It's just one of those things, but.
Yeah, it's just strange how your husband says who left the TV on and just turns off right at that point. Yeah.
It could have been timing. Like a lot of these things can be circumstantial, and I say that to myself because I don't want this. Do you know what I mean? I want to go with my business. I want to go to work. I want to make my money. I want to come home and take care of my family.
Yeah.
I don't want it. It's not something that I'm saying for any sort of
attention
anything.
Or something like that.
No, I say it. And even when I messaged you, I'm like, you're gonna think that I'm crazy. I feel like I've lost it. I feel like something's happened and I'm now a mental case, but I have no. Do you know what I mean? Like, because that's the stigma around it, and up until I saw that bloody thing in the sky, and then it's, now all this other stuff. It was never even thought about it.
Yeah.
But seeing something in the sky like that, what I saw, that was not a circumstantial thing. Like, that was what it was. Hearing like the sound in bed, that was not you can't fit that into just, oh, well, that's just, it's circumstantial. Well, that's not. What the hell was that? And like my hair after my weird friggin' dream, like a lot of these things aren't circumstantial.
Yeah, that's right. It's definitely not the right place, the right time or anything like that. These things are coming for you and happening to you for a reason.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's got to be a reason behind why they're coming to you and taking you away and then, or especially you and your husband anyway, that something is going on there. What it is, we won't know. There's the mystery behind that one.
Yeah, and I told my family about it. I called my dad, and my dad put me on speakerphone, and I told my mum, and I thought, like, we rip each other off constantly. We are like, that's how we show you we love you by tearing you to shreds in like an endearing way. And so I was like, I'm gonna cop it here, but they're so brutally honest, So I told them, and they were like eerily not surprised. They were like, Mum's like, well, you just need to relax and let it happen to you. Just try to remember as much as you can and try to get as much detail as you can, because it's going to happen anyway.
That's
I'm
a
like,
really
that
weird
is-
response.
That is such a weird response. Yeah, I know. That's not what I expected her to say. And I don't remember what I said back, but I remember just being like, what?
You're gobsmacked.
Yeah, and I was like, am I crazy? Am I losing it? And my dad's like, no, I don't think you are. I think something weird is happening. And like I've even told people that I work with, and I think because I'm such an honest person, like I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't dressed it up. It is what it is. They're not like they believe me, and they don't think I'm crazy. Like I expect the response when I tell someone is to be like, you've lost it, or to laugh at me or whatever, and they don't, which is weird. So
Yeah. Forgot one question. It's probably a little bit personal, but one's asking if you've had any miscarriages.
yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if it's in relation to this, where you've been encountering or something like that, but then I don't know, it could be totally different as well. But
it wasn't recent. It was maybe like maybe 4.5 years ago.
yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
possibly would have any relation to what you've just recently been encountering. So yeah,
No, yeah. Yes.
that's fair enough. But because in that sort of area of questioning there, I was going to ask you, like, have you been experiencing anything sort of down that area there, in, like regards to pain or anything like that, where you can think of after these experiences?
Yeah, I get really bad pains in the belly, like the lower abdomen region. It's not like you don't know, you're not a woman, but it's not like a cyst or like an ovarian cyst or anything like that. It's like it feels like I actually thought it was like a digestion thing, because I work at I work at a desk all day, but I've been in this current job for the last year, and it's only been the last couple of months that it's happened. So I don't know if that's related. That again could be a circumstantial thing. And I've taken that, and this is happening at the same time, but I don't see that that's related. Do you know what I mean? Because that could be that I'm just sitting down, I don't know. And now all of a sudden I'm like,
raised to it, whether it be your health or what your positioning or whatever it is, or it could even be related to all this sort of stuff.
but I kind of can't just then put everything in this box when it may not be.
Yeah, there's no point trying to freak out over something that may not be related to it at all, and blowing it out of proportion, sort of thing, which is fair enough too.
Yeah, like I still need to be like, I'm really, really realistic, and this really isn't something that I want to be happening. But and the reason that I joined this group and I hit you up was because I'm like, what is going on? I feel like a crazy person, but I know that I'm not. And because before this sort of stuff didn't even exist. And I feel like if somebody had told me that, I would be like, you're crazy. But now all this stuff is happening to me and my husband, and he's a witness to this. And I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Look, a lot of people have been having the exact same experiences. It's just whether or not they've been coming forward with it or not. But you've pushed through it and you've contacted me and you've come on here and telling everyone your story, which is absolutely overwhelming, I'm sure, for everyone listening. And yeah, it's a crazy encounter, which a lot of people will be thinking it's good to be crazy.
I feel like it's freaking crazy.
Yeah, well, I hope it doesn't escalate to anything more for you. Like, obviously, you don't want to have anything to do with it. So whether you have a choice or not is another thing.
Well, and that's I don't want to know about it. Another thing though is that the other night, and this might not be related again, but the other night I woke up in the morning and my shoes, like my thongs, were at my bed. Like I'd taken them off and got into bed. But my husband, being in the military, he's borderline OCD. Like everything has a plate. And I'm the biggest slob, but he will freak out, and I have to put everything. I have to clean up after myself. So I have a spot for all my. Yeah, so I have a spot for all my shoes, right? And and even if I didn't, I wouldn't leave them by my bed. Like I take my shoes off when I go into the house, and I bring them up and I put them in my wardrobe, or I leave them in the car. Yeah. So then to have them by my bed, like and they were facing my bed, like I walked up, I'd slid my feet out and I jumped into bed.
Yeah, righto. So it's like you just got up in the night there to go and walk about.
Yeah. And I don't sleepwalk, obviously I would have said that I did, or that would have been my... Well, no one here, none of my family's ever said that I do. Maybe it's a new thing. Yeah. But you can.
Jeez. Well, anyway, we're going to have to go on into there. So thank you very much for coming on the show anyway. If anyone's got any questions before we end it here, like hopefully some people can get some questions in there and chuck them in before we end the show there. But it's been absolutely great having you on here, and absolutely crazy story you're telling us. Honestly, like I can't really explain it myself there to try and narrow it down to what you're experiencing. It's just overwhelming.
Yeah, thank you for having me and for listening to it all. It's a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got here. Sorry, I'm just reading through questions here. So someone's saying like the miscarriages that you had could have been for a hybrid child or something like that, which is a theory that a lot of people have been saying with abductions and all sorts of stuff, taking your eggs and sort of stuff. Which is obviously
I did hear actually. I did hear that Jane Cooley also mentioned in the podcast that my husband sent me. Yeah. That made me freak out. That was also mentioned in there, but I didn't really link it. It could have been, but I don't know. Yeah, I can't. I can't just do everything that you know. Yeah. I can't just say, oh well, everything now that fits there must be that, you know.
Yeah. At least you're still putting some logic behind things and trying to have a different outcome of what's actually going on, instead of just saying, yep, what you're saying then. At least you got that about you. You still got some sort of sane mentality there instead of just blowing out of proportion where other people are
I think I heard
crying wolf every single time something happens.
Yeah, but then I feel like it discredits then the things that you actually know for sure.
Absolutely, because you do get people that are attention seeking. It will take away the credibility of the people that are actually experiencing it. Like some people just want the attention.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's why there's such a stigma around it, and why now that this is happening, I'm so just like I said, like I feel like I'm going crazy, is because when you just take everything and you go, oh well, all of this stuff now fits into this box. You sound, it's like, okay, well, you're a crazy person. And then, other people that it's where it's like, okay, this has happened. I know for sure that, this is, I don't know, do you call it alien or extra like something different? It's like, well, you must be one of those crazies.
Yeah. No, you're definitely not crazy, that's for sure, because so many other people have been having these encounters, and yeah, you're not the only one, that's for sure.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you.
look, I'd like to thank you again for coming on the show. It's been absolutely great having you. And yeah, I hope all the best. And anything more comes along, you come and tell me again about what's going on. Anyway,
Yeah, we'll do. We'll do. Hopefully next time the computer just works and it just goes nice to the
yeah,
next
look, that was
person.
an absolute pain in the ass there before. They're trying to get things working. This technology does not want to work with me at all.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't want your story explained to the world. Maybe there's a bit of a conspiracy thrown in there for you. Well, thank you again for coming, and yeah, hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, Anthony.
All right.
Bye.
All the best. Thank you, Rachel. See ya.